Welcome class back to chapter 2, developing a web page. This will be the last lesson video, but there will be an additional assignment video as well. So this one is going to cover our last lesson, which is modify and test web pages. So as you add and modify your pages, you're going to test each page as part of the development process. So the best way to test a web page is to preview in a browser. So that's why I have that one underlined. Again, I mentioned before that live view, 80% accuracy. And of course, the browser is where your visitor is going to visit you through. So you want to make sure that you're using your browsers, okay, Chrome, Internet Explorer, and Firefox, maybe Safari, to make sure that you test your web pages. So see that they function correctly and they also appear correctly. You want to make sure that you test your links to make sure that they work properly. Never ever provide an under construction page or check back later. Never do that, okay? It looks unprofessional. It's important to design your pages so that all browsers and screen sizes can display them as well. So we're going to focus in this course to make sure that we're responsive. So if I open up my website on a smartphone, whether it be in portrait or landscape, that it's going to display correctly, and also on a tablet or say an iPad, and also on a desktop view or a laptop view. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're testing to ensure that they work on all of those different platforms and screen sizes, and to ensure the best possible experience for our users. So again, there's that word responsive design. Means using style sheets to control how pages look on different devices. What we're going to find, and we won't do so much of it here in this particular lesson or this chapter, is that the book will cover smartphone as our global, and then it's going to go into tablet, and it's going to go into desktop. Okay, so we're going to design globally for those that are going to be visiting us through their mobile device, and then we go all the way down to desktop. And that is, you guys, the recommendation from W3C currently today. So here's an example of a desktop view of Striped Umbrella, and then here's an example of mobile device view. So they're using two different banners, because the banner that you see in a desktop view is certainly not going to work correctly in a portrait view on my smartphone. Okay, with Dreamweaver Fluid Grid layouts, you can use percents rather than specific measurements to control how large or small page elements appear depending on the device it is viewed on. So you want to use percentages or EM units or M units versus, say, in pixels. And we'll talk about that in a later chapter. I'll let you read that statement there. 100% true. Okay, and we'll learn that as we go through. Okay, so we're going to be using media queries that are going to identify which device is calling the page and then apply the appropriate CSS code for their optimum viewing. Okay, so we're going to look at mobile, tablet, and desktop. Okay, so 234 and 235. Okay, so we're going to have one style sheet that's going to control all of the looks, okay, for that responsive design. So 234 and 235, and then this will be the end of chapter 2 for Striped Umbrella. So design view. We're not doing anything to the code. We're just going to show you how. I'm just going to show you how you can view these differently. Okay, so to view this in different views, I can use my screen sizes down here in the bottom right corner. So I can go ahead and add sizes to them, and I would highly suggest doing this. Go out there and Google some information about your phone, maybe the iPad you have or the tablet you have, and or you can use these, you know, as your templates. But let's just go to this iPhone 6s. Okay, so here's that mobile view, and notice the change in the logo. I can go ahead and go to landscape view, and then notice, okay, so this is on that phone still, okay, but now I'm in landscape view. So if I can go back to portrait, okay, so there's enough view, enough space for that particular desktop type of banner to come into play. So if I go to iPad Pro, what if I change to portrait? Nope, that's a pretty big screen size there. So you can see there's a lot of options there. Now another option is to use the preview command and click on preview on device. So what you can do here is if you have a QR code scanner, you can scan this in and then it will take your web page here in Dreamweaver and display it on your device. Okay, so that's another option. These are all these different browsers too. I recommend never using preview in browser. There's some quirks with it. If we're going to preview, you're going to right click on the tab here and go open in browser and then to the browser. You can edit your browser list too. You can navigate and set them up. So, and they're usually under programs if you're on a Windows system. So another option too is in your files panel. So let's just say I wanted to view SPA. I can right click on SPA, there's that open in browser, and I can then go open to Firefox, and then now here's my SPA page. Okay. So those are lots of options when it comes to testing your web pages. Again, I'm not a big, huge fan of this preview button here and then preview here. Like here, if I hit F12 on my keyboard, it will default to open in Internet Explorer. Again, it's unreliable when it comes to other things that we're going to be doing in class. So I just suggest that you right click up here and then go to the open in browser. Okay, again, you can use live view, of course, right? But again, it's about 80% accurate. But the nice thing about live view is that you get this responsive type of bar that allows you to drag. So let's just say you can watch the pixels here up at the top. So that was like 1020. Let's see if I wanted to go ahead and test this in. So like 300. Well, now I can see it adjust. So it's definitely nice to be able to use live view. And I think for most of the things that we do in this course, live view will work, but I highly stress that you also test it in the browser too. Okay? And when you're testing it in a browser, so like for example, if I want to test this, I can restore down, and then I can drag in, and I can see it respond. Right, let's see if I got everything. Yep. So that is your lesson 5, and there'll be one more video for your assignments.